Hey, Tom.
Hey, JC.
How's it going tonight, buddy?
I'm tired.
Right? Aren't we all? Isn't that the natural, adult human state in this day and age?
I don't know. They're the young people. They like to be up at night and sleep all day, that type of thing.
I don't
Slaughter
know.
wrote a song about that
I don't
many
know.
years ago, which reveals my age.
I don't know why when you said that it made me think of Nick at Night. Remember staying up for Nick at Night? Watching, I Love Lucy and stuff?
I was gonna say back when Nick and Night was like the black and white episodes of shows, and not like George Lopez.
Yeah. When it was quality entertainment. Whatever this is right now.
Well, I think it's like Friends reruns and stuff like that.
Oh, I like Friends.
So Nick at Night is basically, if Nick at Night somehow acquired Office episodes, it would just be what people use Netflix for now.
Netflix at night. Hey, yeah. Hey, you want to Nick at Night and chill?
No.
No, me either.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to talk about this week in the wrestling world. Yeah.
Okay.
Money in the Bank happened. There's a new championship.
It's being defended right now.
It is. Double or Nothing is this weekend.
It is, and it costs money.
Yeah. Superstar. No, not Superstar Shake Up. Super Showdown is coming up in a little over a week.
Blood Money 3.
Blood Money 3. Yep. There's a lot going on. And so much more. So I said we just start the show. What do you think?
We should probably just roll into it, yeah.
All right, ring that bell for me then.
Will do.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 network, bringing you all the best in wrestling from WWE, New Japan, and beyond. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC.
Oh, buddies!
Bong.
It's the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. My name is JC, and here next to me at the commentary table to the stars is my good buddy, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
Good to be here as always, JC.
Never gets old saying that.
No, it doesn't.
No matter how long we do this.
I'm impressed that I actually remember the line each week.
I cannot, not think about it at all. And then as soon as the music hits, it's, fully in my head. And I'm like, okay, we got this.
One of these days I'm going to go complete Chafe Wiggum, and instead of, good to be here as always, it's going to be good to bake here as all. Actually, I don't even know how I'd mess that up. So in the Cape Fear episode of The Simpsons, which is in my top 10, probably top 5 episodes of The Simpsons, Sideshow Bob's being taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And Bart goes, "Take him away, boys." And Police Chief Wiggum gets all pissed off, and he's just like, Hey, I'm the chief here. He goes, "Bake them away, toys." And he goes, "What's that, chief?" He goes, "Do what the kid says." So that's what's going to happen to me.
All right. I look forward to that moment.
That may be a stroke, so feel free to call 911 and text my wife.
But yeah, I'll do it live. If you hear it happen, there's probably no point, because I'll still release the tape of it.
Because I'm already dead.
Speaking of already dead, let's start with that. That's a transition.
I'm scared of where this transition's going.
Well, there's one of two ways, and I'm saving the part I'm saving for you later. We should start off the show. Yeah, it's 20 years, Tom. We have to talk about it. At least for 30 seconds, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Former WWE diva Ashley Massaro passed away this past week. Very sad, very tragic. Has left a daughter behind. I know there's a big fundraiser that a lot of the current women and her former coworkers have started to raise an education fund for her daughter, but sad, man. It's never not sad.
Yeah, and when someone takes their own life, it's extremely tragic, which is how it appears Ashley's death is. And I mean, I'm not going to go into detail about what I've heard or whatever, but I don't know. The little bits of stories that have come out about her last 12 months or so have just, it seems like she's been pretty troubled and needed some help, either whether it be professional help or just assistance from friends and family and that type of thing. But it's just, it's extremely tragic.
Yeah. I think a lot of the stuff that's come out too lately, that's, it's in an affidavit, but it's unverified. And, Jerry McDivitt has refuted it about potentially a situation she had on a trip to, I believe it was Iraq, where she may or may not have been assaulted by a member of the military, and reported it to WWE, and they said, no, don't talk about this at all because it could strain our relationship with them. Is really tragic if true. But I mean, again, this is one set of words against another right now, so it's not totally worth reporting or talking about right now. But
right,
it's definitely, if something like that was to happen, that would, definitely give someone a varied mental state that would last for quite a while. Right. So, our best wishes to her and her family and friends and everything. It never gets easier, even if it's, not a top star or someone that's right now. It's still someone that performed for us, so it sucks.
Yeah. I'm not that knowledgeable of her ring work or anything like that. That was kind of the era where I was out of wrestling.
You and me both.
So.
Yeah. I did see a lot of posts on Reddit where people are like, man, that really sucks because I was a teenage boy when she was wrestling. And I was like, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's
weird.
There's a time for that.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Maybe not an hour after the news breaks. Yeah. Anyway, Money in the Bank was this past Sunday. A lot happened. And suddenly...
Professional wrestling matches happened for several hours.
Yeah. Hey, it was, you know what? It wasn't WrestleMania. It was quick. Everything feels quick in comparison to the 8-hour marathon of Mania.
I figure we had 12 matches.
Yeah.
And 3 of them were less than 2 minutes.
That's true. Yeah. So most of this we're not going to dig into, but the Usos leave with this, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, even though they're a Raw tag team. Interesting to see where that plays out. But yay for them.
Oh, God.
I will say, I was very glad that we're apparently maybe finally ditching the comedy between the Usos and the Revival and letting them wrestle each other. Because that way someone can finally carry the Revival to a good match. Tom comments.
The bit gets old. It really does.
Hey, I tweeted my true feelings during Raw. I was like, that's a really good match. So...
it was. Anybody who saw it, and it was all over Twitter that, finally they let these guys actually wrestle, and look what happens.
Exactly. So more of that, please, because I do enjoy watching all 4 of them. Bayley won the women's contract in what people either loved this match or thought it was the sloppiest Money in the Bank match of all time. I lean to the sloppiest Money in the Bank match of all time category.
It's tough because I don't know if it's a trust thing or just the inability to do it or whatever, but there is seemingly a fear to put the women in the same spots that the men do for ladder matches.
Right.
So, and when you don't have a Charlotte Flair in there, you don't have Becky Lynch in there, you don't have Sasha Banks in there, you don't have the risk takers and bump takers that you normally would. So you are restricted as to what you can pull off in an already restricted match.
Yeah. And I can't remember who I had this conversation with during the match on Twitter through our account at CheatersMVRPin. But the comment was made that, basically they're going spot to spot to spot. There's no psychology or anything about the match. And so they're just thinking, what's the next thing I have to do? So there's no flow to the match either. It just feels like like moment after moment that isn't really leading to anything.
But I mean, more so Money in the Bank matches are going to be like that. It's one thing to have a traditional ladder match if you have one versus the other person, or even a three-way match where you can keep control of it, of one aspect or the other. But when you're trying to like arrange, again, you fall into that hole where you have 8 people, so you have to go, okay, we do the, you know, the early spots, so it knocks most of the people out of the ring, and then we'll spotlight 2 people, and then a third person will get involved, and then we'll spotlight 2 people again.
Exactly. 8's way too many. These need to go to 6.
I was going to say 6 is a good number,
but I will say conversely to your point, I mean, yeah, those ladder matches and matches like that have to be structured like that for sure, because you know when they're setting the match up in the back before they're thinking, all right, what cool thing can we do to top what we did last time, and they're trying to figure out how to work it in and the setup to get the ladders where they need to be and everything. But at least with the men's match this year, which to me, I'll go ahead and say it, I think is my favorite Money in the Bank match of all time.
okay.
It felt super, like, that match felt smooth. Everything felt natural. Just in the women's match, it felt very deliberate. Like, we're setting this up. Now we're doing this. Next, rinse and repeat.
Well, the men's match had 7 people in it. And the moment there was an 8th person in the match, it completely ruined it.
Well, we'll get to that. I've had varying thoughts about that through the week, so we'll get there. Rey Mysterio regained the United States Championship from Samoa Joe. Actually gained it for the first time.
Yes.
Yes. I should say regained. Maybe Rey separated his shoulder. Apparently he's in Alabama having it looked at. They're addressing the future of the United States title on Raw Monday night. Joe got some color, which Joe with color is the scariest scene, I think, in WWE.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Was it the Nakamura match that kept getting stopped because Joe busted his nose?
No, it was Joe and Balor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was...
And Joe just kept getting more and more pissed off.
Yeah, because that was in NXT.
Yeah.
And he just kept... Yeah, I remember that. I was so mad.
That was the first time I think we really saw them buckle down on the blood and get so serious about the blood to actually, like, literally stop the match and go, no, let's make sure you're okay.
He was gushing that time. Here it was, I think it looked like he probably broke his nose.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't a lot, but during that match against Finn, he was gushing. So we'll see what happens there. Joe is still on the warpath about Dominic, so who knows? Mm-hmm. Dominic on a pole coming soon. Please make it happen.
Gotta get his way through college somehow.
Right. Shane beat The Miz because he slipped out of his shirt as he was climbing over the cage. This was a match. I had such high hopes for it too.
Because I'm sitting back thinking to myself, you know what Shane McMahon needs? More wins.
Right? And then we're moving on. Like, he got 2 in a row. He won at Mania, and then he wins here. The Miz has never really gotten his blow off as the babyface.
He's been geeked out. It
annoys me so much, especially because he's been so good lately. And I realize Shane's McMahon, and that's the issue here, right? But
we need to make sure a 49-year-old guy is on top.
Yes. But what is interesting is his current feud, his new feud, is against Roman. So who do you put over there? Exactly.
It's the irresistible force and the immovable object.
Right. Tony Nese defended the Cruiserweight Championship on the main card.
Like, smack dab in the middle of it, too. Yeah. Not like opener or anything like that.
Against Arya Daivari, retained it. In a match that started with 0 heat whatsoever in the building. But as always, the Cruiserweights are good, and they did a lot of work, and then the crowd cheered.
The fact that Daivari drove to ringside.
Yes. Went full ADR in his, I think it was a Mercedes, maybe it was a BMW, I can't remember.
It was a German vehicle.
Yes. It was cool. Good match. Nothing special. Yeah. It was good. It was just solid wrestling.
Still like Tony Nese. We'll always like Tony Nese.
Yeah, for sure. Becky Lynch then had her first match of the night, defeating Lacey Evans by disarmor, retaining the Raw Women's Championship.
Can we talk about Lacey's entrance?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't. You and I decide the content for the show. Do you have to ask?
Well, I have no desire to talk about the actual match, but
Yeah, me either.
So Lacey comes out, and the whole Lacey gimmick is I'm still processing it.
Okay, fair.
But then she kind of comes down to ringside and goes Junior Rainmaker. Like, rips off her pants to reveal, like, the garters that are holding the guns that shoot out money.
She was budget Okada.
Yeah.
I didn't even equate the pants ripping off like Okada. That part never clicked in my brain until you just said it. But that was the first thing I thought with the money with her face on it. I was like, oh.
I wanted the camera to, like, zoom out.
Yeah. Would it be
Maybe
great? Would it be
that'll
great?
happen in a match sometime.
Please. She just goes to the center ring and spreads her arms out. The camera zooms out. They just do it once and never mention it again.
Like, at this point, screw it. Just, start doing the Rainmaker finisher and
Michael Cole just screaming, "Vintage Rainmaker!" Oh, man. Match was fine. Lacey looked good. Lacey's coming along. Look, hey,
Yeah.
they let her wrestle, and she did fine. That's all we've asked for.
that was the outcome that was expected and the best possible outcome for it. I mean, Lacey didn't look embarrassed or anything like that, so.
No, she held her own. She looked like she should have been in that ring in that moment. So, I'm good with it.
Yeah, it'll move it along, and she'll be part of the picture. I mean, I still don't know how they're going to necessarily book the Raw Women's division, but she's there now.
Right. Then match ends. Becky's leaving to her theme music. Charlotte's music hits, and we're immediately on to Becky's second match.
The happiest I've ever seen Charlotte Flair.
Oh, I'm happy whenever I see her.
Yeah, I understand. I heard the comic noise from my house.
I was more happy when Charlotte defeated SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch in the center of the ring and won the SmackDown Women's Championship, becoming the 9-time Women's Champion.
And then what happened?
Oh, I thought you were going to comment on how she won that belt. Through
the
interference of Lacey
I
Evans.
assumed you were just going to blow that off.
I was. That didn't happen.
Yeah. Like a true heel that you are.
Right. Yeah. I'm the heel on this show. I don't know if you realize that.
See it.
No.
I'm beloved by many. You are the heel.
If Lacey Evans hits Becky Lynch in the face in the woods and a ref doesn't see it, did it ever happen?
Let's not get philosophical here.
The existential edition of Cheaters Never Pin.
We already have a name for this show.
Yeah, we determined that.
You determined that.
Monday
I just
night,
said,
I
yep,
text
that's
you.
good.
I didn't. Well, you didn't even say yes. I just didn't get a text back, and I was like, "All right, I guess that works." So Lacey and Charlotte then go to beat down Becky. Becky takes out Lacey, beats up on Charlotte for a while. Charlotte gets laid out. Bayley's music hits. Bayley cashes in to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Cool.
Like, what?
Finally, do something with Bayley. I'm happy for Bayley.
Yeah.
Thank
Why
God.
does Bayley's music hit though?
Because when you walk in, it's I don't know. I don't know if you.
No, I'm still trying to figure this out. At Gorilla, is there like one of those like card scanning things where if you want to go through the curtain, you have to scan your card and then your music will play as the doors open?
So I had this WWE toy as a child. So I had the ring and the action figures and a Titantron. And the way the Titantron worked is on the bottom of certain action figures' feet, there were two little metal leads that you put them down on there, and you put them down there, and it'd play their music, right? If it was one of, like, the 6 or 7 that were pre-programmed in there, otherwise it just played the Raw theme. That's how I imagine it works, is in the bottom of all their boots. There's two little metal leads, and as they walk through Gorilla, they hit the pad on the floor that says it triggers their music and lights.
Damn it, walk on the footpad.
That's why everyone only surprises people coming through the audience.
Right.
Right?
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Who knew that was a true-to-life toy?
All the secrets being revealed here on WWE Secrets Revealed.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Roman Reigns defeated Elias in 10 seconds after Elias attacked him backstage. Roman came up, beat the crap out of him. But Elias made a full face turn in my eyes Sunday night.
The entire city of Raleigh stood up and applauded.
So he went to North Carolina, and it was a great place. And that's obviously why the Whalers left. I got a big pop from the 328 contingent.
And the 14 fans of the Whalers that still exist booed.
It got solid boos in that building.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, ooh. Not like in Montreal when he craps on them and they stop the show for 5 minutes. So Roman won. That was cool.
It was short, and
That's all it needed to be.
I like that for Roman right now. I don't need an 18-minute match from Roman.
Well, and they gave him a rematch on Tuesday. So maybe it was, well, we know we're going to book that on Tuesday, so let's just wrap this up here because we know we're going to have a match where there's Shane involved on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important to get Shane involved.
Of course.
We need more Shane.
You know we haven't seen in forever? Stephanie.
Oh, you just ruined it all, haven't you?
I mean, I like Steph as a character on TV. So, I don't know. Doesn't bother me. Seth retains the Universal Championship against AJ Styles in the match of the night. Unsurprisingly.
This was a match.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really good. It was exactly what you would expect from these two guys.
Right. It was. I mean, we were talking about it last week, going, well, it depends, and it can be a great match, but it's also possible that they may hold back a little bit. Yeah. But no, this is the match that you wanted from the two of them. Mm-hmm. Still keeping it, under 20 minutes. Like,
right.
I'm sure they could pull off a 45-minute match if they really needed to, but this isn't New Japan, folks.
Could you imagine a 60-minute Iron Man match between these two? Oh, it'd be so good. And we can get back there. AJ is apparently moving on to Baron Corbin now. So I don't know who AJ pissed off in the back.
Baron Corbin is a main eventer.
Yeah, every week on Raw. And I just...
He shuts down Raw.
But he doesn't have here's my thing with Baron Corbin. He doesn't have a path or any story or anything. He's just like, I'm a bad guy. That's how his music would start. His music should start with, everybody got a sound effect added to the start of their music now. So it should be Baron Corbin going, rawr.
And then the roar word can appear as giant word 3D word art as he comes down to the ring.
Oh yeah, some AR word art. Be great. Kofi Kingston defeated Big O to retain the WWE Championship. Another good match.
Yep.
No, not spectacular, not terrible. Good. It was fine.
It's good. It's what it needed to be.
Yeah. 14 minutes. Just all you need from those two. And then, of course, the main event of the evening. Ali, Andrade, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, and Ricochet faced off in a Money in the Bank ladder match, from which Sami Zayn was taken out of contention earlier in the night when he was hung upside down backstage by somebody who we thought would be Baron Corbin, but is absolutely not. Or no, I'm sorry, Braun Strowman. And then there's no payoff to him being tied upside down anywhere. Don't even discuss it Monday or Tuesday.
Because the Saudi prince told them not to.
Oh, yeah.
He actually told them to hang Sami Zayn, and they interpreted it wrong.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. these 7 guys go out there and murder each other, rip Finn Balor's spine.
How is Finn Balor still alive?
I don't know. He took
There was
3.
like a super cut of all the bumps that he took.
Yeah. There were 3 amazing shots to the spine with a ladder. There was the one, it was like a sit out power bomb Andrade hit off of him off the top of a ladder onto another one, which he then bounced off of and impacted again.
I was gonna say that was like the sunset flip type.
Yeah. Was it Drew or Baron Corbin hit him with an enziguri onto the side of a ladder directly onto his spine. And then there was another one. I don't know.
I don't know. That sunset flip power bomb that like pretty much launched him into like orbit. That got me. There was a comment by Matt Hardy online when he saw that. Something about the chair of wheels calls for someone else.
I thought of course, the spot of the night was Drew tossing Ricochet to the outside to a ladder that's bridged between the commentary table and the apron. And, of course, Ricochet hits it back first and splits it in half. There was also the Andrade Ali Spanish fly off a ladder, which was just it's insanity. So these
it's
7
tough for me.
Oh,
I was gonna say it's tough for me because I hate the Spanish fly as a move.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, we're both gonna flip in the air, and you're gonna be really hurt by it, but I'm not.
Yeah, right.
But it looks cool as shit. It always does.
Well, it's like the difference between a rock bottom and a DDT, and dirty deeds. Like, or no, it's rock bottom or end of days. That's where I was going with it. It's the same move, just in opposite directions. Like, okay. So these 7 guys go out there and murder themselves, only for Brock Lesnar's music to hit. He comes out, starts literally throwing ladders, injures a camera guy, injures Ali, and then climbs the ladder and wins.
Ali had his hands on the briefcase. And in true ladder match fashion.
Right? Just stood there. Like somebody had tweeted this too. The only smart person ever in a Money in the Bank match has been Seth Rollins. Yeah.
When he jumped off, like somebody else was going slow. I forgot who it was who was going slowly up the ladder, and Seth just jumps off the ropes onto the ladder and just runs up the ladder and grabs the briefcase.
Right. Rumor has it that apparently Drew was supposed to win the match at the beginning of the week. They changed it on Saturday to Ali and told everybody Ali's winning it. And then they, on Saturday, told everyone Ali's not winning it and only told Ali what was going to happen with Brock coming out right before he went out for the match. And no one knew Brock was coming out other than Ali.
And supposedly we look at reaction shots, and there's one supposedly that is of Randy Orton where he has this look on his face, and there's a whole Reddit argument whether Randy Orton's like rolling his eyes going, God, or if the other half is like, no, it's because he's exhausted and he's just tired. Like
old Randy Two Bumps, as he called himself on Twitter. My favorite Randy moment of the match, which, God bless Randy Orton, to do as little as he does and just be there all the time. I love him because he does not care. After Ricochet lands on the ladder, Randy's sitting on the ground behind him. You see Ricochet land on that ladder that breaks. You just see Randy kind of like raise his eyebrows behind it like, huh. Like, find a gif of that moment and look specifically for Randy in the background, and it is hilarious.
Randy Orton is now facial expressions.
Oh, I love him. I will never not mark out for Randy Orton. So that was Money in the Bank. Brock and Paul Heyman are supposedly going to announce their plans for the briefcase on Monday on Raw. So we'll see what happens.
So, tweet regarding the final match of Money in the Bank from former WWE competitor and current AEW competitor Chris Jericho. Awesome to see Brock Lesnar win the Money in the Bank match, even though he wasn't officially entered. Brock is the future of the biz, and this perfect example of genius booking shows why WWE will remain on top forever. # Go Brock Go.
It's Jericho stirring the pot.
Yeah.
And people got all worked up about it. I'm like, all right, folks. Like,
You worked yourself.
Brother. He show, you know, this goes to an entire discussion we're going to have when we talk about Double or Nothing, but he's working the marks, brother. That's all he's doing. I'll leave it at that for now. So that was Money in the Bank. It was a show. It was good.
Yep.
It was fine. I think anything was better than the last 2 weeks of television prior to it.
Yeah, television's been bad.
Yeah. So,
aren't you glad you spent all that money on that, Fox?
right. So, speaking of the networks, supposedly, this was in the Wrestling Observer trash letter this week, USA Network has obviously noticed the declining ratings in the third hour of Raw and has been providing ideas to Vince on how to fix it.
Notes.
Yes.
In the industry, they're called notes.
Right. According to Meltzer, Vince realized he needed to do at least one of them. Like, come on. And so the one he accepted was the 24/7 title.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It's the ugliest belt ever.
Okay, yeah. First, let's talk about the Art Deco style belt, which Waffle House was like, who stole? Made some tweet about like who stole a clock out of our office. It was like, damn, Waffle House.
So
And then Wendy's tweeting that they were going to become the first fast food or the first restaurant champion. Like, what is happening? But anyway.
Is that instead of Rockle Around the Clock, it's Wrestle Around the Clock, so they decided to go 50s theme. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, the belt is ugly as sin. When Foley pulled it out of the bag after maybe the worst Mick Foley promo in the history of Mick Foley promos, which he admitted to.
Yeah.
The crowd was not happy because it was not the hardcore title. But, yeah. 24/7 title, which was then started in the XFL Scramble. Foley lays the belt in the ring, and every mid-carder runs from the back and whoever grabs the title first is the first champion. And
no one blew out a knee, so it's better than the Scramble that way.
That's true. So the first 24/7 champion was leader of Titus Worldwide, Titus O'Neil. So that was fun for 30
did not
seconds.
Trip going down the ringside.
No, they didn't even fake it. I was proud of him. I'm proud we've moved past that joke.
Yeah.
He makes it up the ramp with the belt, as everyone's to only be blasted from behind by Robert Roode, which I still have to think, like actively think to call him Robert Roode and not Bobby Roode. Robert Roode becomes the next champion. The chase ensues backstage. Eventually, in the final segment of Raw Monday Night with the 24/7 championship, he enlists the help of R-Truth to hide them in the trunk of a car. R-Truth tells everybody that's running towards him, hey, went another direction. R-Truth gets him out of the trunk, goes to put him in the passenger seat. Conveniently, there's a ref in the passenger seat. Truth rolls him up, gets the championship, gets in his car, and leaves. This belt, by the way, designed for R-Truth. And it did not occur to me until he won it.
Most importantly, then proceeds to go on Twitter and say, I'm bringing the European Championship to SmackDown.
Yes. Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, the European Championship. And then he dressed in drag Tuesday night to disguise himself. Which did not work. But he's still the champion. This is going to be fun. It's been fun on Twitter with especially Drake Maverick leading the charge online of making wanted posters. It's been very good.
Steve Carino was talking him.
yeah.
Who's now just a, road agent and backstage guy and trainer, but, former ECW World Heavyweight Champion as well. So
there was also a video that Kathy Kelly released, and she was like, I couldn't find R-Truth for an interview. And it's just her looking at different doors, but she's got a ref with her, and she's just walking around backstage looking around. It's like, this is fun. This is a really good idea. This way, this can be your comedy segment. Keep it to that. You can get it out of everything else. Not that everything else doesn't need a little comedy every now and then, because it does. But this can be your truly, comedic, entertaining piece of every show. And you don't have to worry about trying to fit it in elsewhere.
Now, I've seen people complain about, oh, God, another belt. Do we really need another belt? There's 11 belts or something. Okay, I'm the one that has no problem with, I'll call it a low card championship.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of how there was the Crockett always had the World Television Championship.
Yeah, that's what
that got defended. 10-minute time limit. Every 605 Superstation card. It was always against Rocky King or something like that. But you still hadn't title defense because generally you didn't defend the world title. You didn't defend the U.S. title. And so, yeah, save those things for pay-per-views, build up to those matches, but people still like the possibility of a title change or something like that. That's what this 24/7 title will do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's just dumb fun. It's not a serious title. Whoever's holding it, I'm sure they're, I got a championship in WWE. That's cool, But, it's fodder for comedy, and it's being treated that way, which is the good part.
I love that somebody's going to have to track this again, just like how with the hardcore title, people were 11-time champions. And
yeah, I'm getting very excited for the possibility of getting a notification that they're live on Periscope or Facebook or the network that there's a title change. It's just, it could brighten up a Thursday afternoon at some point.
It really is made for social media.
Yeah. Yep.
It would have been ideal. You didn't necessarily have this in the Attitude Era where, you had the internet, but you didn't necessarily have the easy accessibility that people have now with phones and Twitter and Facebook and things like that,
yep.
Where you can turn around and send a push message and go, live, here's something that you may want to take a look at. So-and-so is chasing after the title or
and even if,
whatever.
One, it's cheap, it's free, basically free to do. And you could even have the talent themselves just do it, right? And go live. So it gives everyone an incentive to follow all the talent that would be involved with it, therefore also boosting their social media numbers. So, it works. Works really, really well. So I'm excited for it. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have a problem with it except the fact that it's ugly.
Who do you think is the first person that wins this title that's not an active roster member? Because that will happen at some point. But
let's see. Who's the... I don't remember his name, but who's the SmackDown ring announcer?
I can picture. I could have told you before you asked me.
Of course.
People are screaming into their podcast at home now. Let me look it up because I can't. Greg Hamilton. There we go.
Okay. Whew. Could be him. We could have another referee.
Corey Graves said he wanted it. Basically, that would be fun.
As a referee, can you count your own pin?
No, I think it's got to be a different referee.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the women to pass it around too at some point. That is absolutely going to happen. But then you have to have a man pin a woman at some point to get it back, right? So, interesting. That's my only thing with, like, I don't think the women ever get it. But we'll see.
Well, you'll do the Gerald Briscoe, somebody's
Asleep.
taking a nap in the back room, and
What if Gerald Briscoe won it again exactly like that? That'd be a fun callback.
and then loses to Pat Patterson.
Oh, yes. Please, yeah. Both of them deserve a run with it for one night. Just do that. Just as a fun moment.
Just have them back in, like, backstage, and they're just kind of looking around, like, "Hey guys, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
"Oh, nothing. We're just, you know where that R-Truth is?"
I'd love to see R-Truth have like a year reign with it.
Just no title changes whatsoever. Just him constantly avoiding everything.
That would actually be kind of entertaining too.
If anyone can pull it off, it's R-Truth.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up our WWE talk with Super Showdown a week from today, by the time you hear this. Next Friday, live on the network from place undetermined, which they're just now calling Jeddah. They're not saying in Saudi Arabia. They're just like, in Jeddah. Like, you can't Google that.
Jeddah's a car, JC.
Oh, right. Let's see what matches have been added since we last discussed this. Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. That's a match with two people. Finn Balor defends the Intercontinental Championship against Andrade. Roman Reigns takes on Shane McMahon. And Kofi Kingston will defend the WWE Championship against the returning Dolph Ziggler, who showed back up on SmackDown this past Tuesday. Which was unexpected.
Yeah.
That was
they were like, "Oh, it's still the same thing, though."
Yeah, it was a big WTF moment. So he beats Kofi down, and he comes out and cuts maybe one of the worst acted promos of all time. It should have been me, was the main part of it. Should have been my moment in Mania. But
yeah, okay.
But that's what you got to do when you can't take Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. So of course Sami Zayn cannot go. Kevin Owens has said he is not going to go. And the third person that is not going, that has already been announced, or not announced, is not going, but is common knowledge at this point, is Aleister Black.
The last thing I heard was his tattoos are a little too risque.
Yeah. Especially due to the dark nature of his religion is basically the reason why. So WWE is choosing to keep him at home. So I guess he can be on Evolution, too, whenever that happens. With his wife. He can back up his wife.
There you go.
There you go. So yeah, that's WWE this week. So let's move on to the biggest event this weekend. Memorial Day weekend, live from Las Vegas. It's the first AEW branded show, Double or Nothing, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Saturday night. It's $50 on pay-per-view. I think we discussed this last week, so we won't go into that again. But exclusively streaming through Bleacher Report, or you can order it through your cable provider. So, cool. I'm not going to go through the whole card here, but of course the big things here: Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. It'll be as good as it was last time.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
assuming. Well, I don't remember how long it was last time. I'm assuming they're going to go a lot shorter than they would if they were in New Japan.
Yeah, that would be my assumption. The winner of that match will face the winner of the Casino Battle Royal, the 21-man Battle Royal they'll be having, for the AEW World Championship. Names you may know from the Battle Royal. Let's see here. Brian Pillman Jr., Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, Billy Gunn, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Sean Spears. Those are kind of the biggest names, I would say, that are announced so far.
I disagree with you.
Ooh, who are you?
Glacier.
Oh, right. I see it in front of me. I just
Blood
didn't
will
read
run
it.
cold.
Okay, buddy.
Cryonic kicks to everyone.
So that's happening. The Young Bucks take on the Lucha. Oh, do what?
There's four guys named Tiba. So.
Oh yeah.
You never know.
There's a pretty good chance of Tuba winning.
Yeah.
Someone asked this on the Twitter in our pin mail. Do the song, Tom.
Pin mail.
From @Harry and Cranky. How big of a pop would John Moxley get for showing up at Double or Nothing?
Crap would be lost. People would.
It's a huge pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be. I mean,
not quite Cena at Rumble in Madison Square Garden.
Right. God, that moment. Still, every time I see it in a clip package, it's sheer insanity. Especially with Triple H's look, just staring down there like, oh, crap. The Young Bucks take on the Lucha Brothers for the AAA World Tag Team Championships. I would imagine they might hand them back here.
Yeah. Just an excuse pretty much to get those titles on, because they're not introducing tag titles here, so
yeah,
it gets a tag title match there, and yeah.
Right. So that's
plus it gave the Bucks another title to add to their repertoire.
Exactly. Then there's other matches on the card too, but enjoy those. It's gonna be a fun show. I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, there's Cody versus Dustin.
Oh crap! Yeah, I skipped right over that. That's right. That's gonna be. It's. I think, was it Sports Illustrated wrote an article, or somebody wrote an article? I saw the link. I didn't click on it this week. About, I guess, in talking to them, basically they're both saying, you know, this is the WrestleMania moment they never got.
Right.
So it'll be fun because.
Are we gonna?
Oh, go ahead.
Are we gonna see Dustin? Is Dustin gonna go color?
Is he gonna what?
Are we gonna see color out of Dustin? So you're gonna bust him open?
Oh, huh. Interesting thought. Maybe.
Dustin's a good bleeder.
Yeah. We'll see.
I don't know.
It's a 50-50, good 50-50 shot there.
I don't know if that's an AEW thing, if they're going to actually use blood or... I mean, because it's tough because, I mean, obviously WWE doesn't use it.
Right. Unless you're Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. New Japan doesn't really use it.
Right.
Except like rare occasions. But, you know, other smaller promotions will use it all the time. So it's like, well, you got a direction to go in. And I guess AEW's show is TV-14. It's not TV-PG.
Right.
So they've left that door open a little bit.
Yeah.
So
the potential's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
Part of me is really ready for it to happen, and I really want AEW to finally start as a real weekly promotion, because I'm so... Admittedly, if you've ever listened to this podcast before, I'm a huge mark for WWE. Like, that is my primary wrestling product. I am so sick of seeing all the comments and chatter online about, like, AEW is going to totally toast them. They're already a better promotion. You can't say that because they haven't booked a storyline yet. The one they tried to book, they had to do... They had to shoot the match 2 weeks ago in England because they couldn't come to a creative agreement with Dragon Gate for that title. Because if you remember correctly, Pac and Hangman Page were supposed to be on this card. Pac, who is the Dragon Gate champion, they didn't want him getting beaten. We need to pump the brakes on AEW a bit. I have no doubt it's going to be good. I'm not saying that. I don't want to sound like I'm saying it's going to be a terrible promotion, and I hope they fail, because I don't. I want them to succeed, because Vince and WWE are best when they have competition. But everyone's just so like, oh, this is gonna destroy them. You can't make that generalization yet, because they haven't done anything yet. All In and this show are just one-offs. Like, this would be if we went and raised $100,000, did a show in Dorton Arena, hired a bunch of indie workers, and went, here's a show. Wouldn't mean Cheaters Never Pin is putting WWE out of business.
It's the way that everyone's talking, though, and just the way that it's being built up. Yes, theoretically, they're doing all the right things right now because nothing's actually happened. You've had one card, which was lightning in a bottle. And, I mean, the card itself wasn't perfect. It was fine for what it was. I mean, it was good. But people were excited because it was a new product. It was different. It wasn't Ring of Honor. It wasn't TNA. It was this thing where people saw potential in, and you're doing it again now. But as you know, over time, you need to book things. If you're going to have a weekly television show, you're going to actually have a promotion instead of just dream matches every once in a while. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to book this correctly, and mistakes are going to happen. Even to the best bookers in the world, mistakes happen. Some things don't take off. And that crowd that eats everything up that first couple of weeks or whatever is going to stop doing that eventually.
Yeah.
And then, there's going to be times where you get painted into a corner and you don't know what to do necessarily. They make the wrong decision and people get frustrated with it because they'll go, well, I thought they were going to do this. Well, I thought they were going to do that. Not everyone has this perfect same picture of what AEW is going to be in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So as those 6 months go, there are going to be people that are happy with it. There are going to be people that are pissed off with it. And there's going to be the in-between. And that's what people are going to have to understand.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Competition is fine. It's going to be definitely an alternative to WWE. And like you said, WWE then becomes better because of competition.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be such a different product that,
which will hopefully then change the WWE product a little bit.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be good. We're going, I want it to do well. I don't want to.
This is good for wrestling as a whole.
Yeah. This is good for everyone who laces up a pair of boots.
Because I'll be quite honest with you, having watched or attempted to watch WWE in the last month or so, I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of there. And the week they taped in London or in England, I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to watch this live. I can just read the results. Need me a little break.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where if it weren't for AEW, I'd start to be like, do I really want to watch wrestling anymore? Like, New Japan is fun to kind of watch in bursts and that type of thing, but New Japan's difficult to watch on a regular basis for me because I have to sit down, I have to pay full attention to it. I can't, I want to watch the matches because New Japan it's not sports entertainment in the sense it's wrestling. You have to pay full attention to it, even with English commentary. You have to pay full attention to it to actually appreciate it. You can't just leave it on the background. WWE, you can kind of leave it on in the background as you're doing other things, and that's fine. So it's difficult for me to fully invest in New Japan as much as I enjoy watching it. I have to invest time to actually enjoy it. So wrestling's been difficult for me. I'll be flat out honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. That goes in cycles like every other, entertainment product.
Yep.
Much like the show.
No, this show is always gold.
It is. We're the only consistent thing in wrestling. All right, let's wrap this thing up with the last two pin mails.
All right.
The first one, since I wanted to get through WWE, these are both about WWE. I just wanted to get through it and get to Double or Nothing before we ran out of time.
Okay.
From @MeatPositivePete. I actually missed Heel Ziggler. What do you think of his return? And do you think that it will be short-lived? Does he deserve a big push? That's such a hard one because I don't know if he's coming back long-term or if they just have him kind of showing up for the Saudi Arabia show. It's which I'm sure is the question here, right? I'd like to see him back. I like Dolph Ziggler. You just need to have him have something to do and not sitting in limbo, which has been his problem for so long.
It's been this weird thing in the last 12 to 18 months, it seems, is you have him, he has a gimmick, you pull him off the air, you leave him out of the picture for a period of time. So you think, oh, either he's leaving. They're like, no, he's still under contract. It's like, all right, well, he's being repackaged. And then finally he comes back and he's exactly the same. And then he gets pulled off the air again. You're like, oh no, he's going to be repackaged now. He's going to, something really exciting is going to happen. And then they add a record scratch and then that's it.
Right.
It's still the same Ziggler. And now it's still the same Ziggler. I enjoy him. Like you said, I enjoy watching him work. I think he's a great worker. He sells like a madman, but I think he has a place in the company. I don't know if it's the best for him though. We talk about people that could use a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave him a little bit of freedom of control of his character in a place like AEW or Ring of Honor or any of those places, what would we get out of it? I don't know. Is there another character that he has that he wants to do? I don't know.
Yeah. It's such a hard call. I don't know. I hate giving that answer, but I don't know.
That's pretty much been his gimmick has been either I'm cocky and great and I'm happy about it, or I'm cocky and great and I'm pissed off because you don't know it.
Yeah. Which is where he's at right now.
Yeah.
So.
That's been his gimmick for that's been Dolph Ziggler forever.
Yep. Last question from @Inlock716. Thoughts on what Raw is trying to do with the third hour of Raw? Seems like they are really trying to shake things up, but personally, not sure if it will make much of a difference. Raw lately just seems to be one giant cluster. ... I love...
It's darker. Let's make it dark.
I love that look. The whole show should look like that. It keeps the focus and the attention on the ring, not on the show. Right?
We'll add smoke. It'll be like the 70s.
I loved it. And I kept noticing little touches during it. I was basically live tweeting that. First you notice it's dark, and then you notice, wait, the Tron and the ramp are dark too, and then, wait, now the apron LEDs are dark, and okay, now the ring post LEDs are dark. Look, they took the graphics off the back of the LED ring posts. I don't know, it looked good.
Well, I guess that's the thing. You're left to wonder, are we doing something with this, or, is it just a thing?
How it was just so unceremoniously announced by Mick Foley as part of the 24/7 thing. Third hour of Raw is going to be Raw. And that was it. That was the only acknowledgement of it.
So we're almost taking it like it's going to be like Shotgun Saturday Night. You remember when Shotgun Saturday Night was first announced?
Uh-huh.
They built it into this whole anything can happen. It's it's late night, but it's live, and Terry Funk's gonna call your mother a whore, and anything can happen because it's Shotgun Saturday Night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost like the implication here. We're turning the lights down low. It's 10 o'clock, so the kids are already in bed. So maybe something a little risque is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Get a little more violence.
Yeah, it's like the having the first hour be Raw, the second hour be Warzone. It's that all over again.
Yeah, we're gonna get the credits down the bottom, and then
yeah, I mean, it's potential. Maybe they're angling back to do a higher rating in the last hour. I don't think they would ever do that in this day and age, but who knows? Maybe USA's like, hey, do this. We'll see.
I mean, I think it's realistically a thing of, well, it's 3 hours is difficult to sit through, so we need to give an excuse at that third hour, because it sure as hell ain't Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
We need an excuse to get these people to stay until the third, through the third hour. So,
yeah,
that third hour is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
How's it going to be different? You're going to have to just tune in.
Yeah. If the answer is going to be it just looks different, like why? That's the equivalent of taping the ropes purple and changing the canvas for the cruiserweights when they were on Raw. Just why? So, we'll see. Anything else this week in wrestling? I guess today, as we record this, is the... I told you I was at least going to mention it. We don't have to talk about it.
Yep.
It is the 20th anniversary of the passing of Owen Hart. There's a lot being written about it right now. I know Post Wrestling did a great audio documentary that I've seen get a bunch of good reviews that I haven't listened to yet. I know the episode of Grilling JR this week is about Over the Edge. Yeah, I can't believe it. 20 years is crazy because I remember when it happened. So it's just kind of like, where did the time go?
So I am blessed to not have been watching that pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a time that I didn't miss pay-per-views because I was accessing them for free of charge for reasons I won't get into here. But like, normally I would tape them or whatever, and I don't know if I actually ended up taping it or if I was going to watch the replay. That's what I ended up doing a lot of times, was like for that 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock hour, I was too busy doing other stuff, or I was, whatever. But because of the hours that I kept as a college student or whatever, I'd just be like, well, I'll watch the 11 o'clock replay and, I'll catch it then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting on the computer and going to IRC, which IRC is a
internet
kind of
relay
room.
chat.
Yes. Which I would join with my friends, and it was pretty much a wrestling chat group, that type of thing. And I remember the channel, like the title of the channel was like RIP Owen Hart, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of sick joke is this? And they're like, you don't know. And I'm like, no, I don't know. What are you talking about? And having it explained to me, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
And again, I've said it enough times here. Owen was one of my favorites, just both in the ring and outside of the ring, just him being the good person that he is. And then just, I loved watching him wrestle. Like when he would first, when the original Blue Blazer came in, and being the cool wrestling mark that I was, I'm like, the Blue Blazer, that's actually Owen Hart. That's Bret Hart's brother. Yeah, I was knowledgeable.
Yes, smart.
Yeah. But I would get so excited to see him in the ring, like, oh man, I can't wait. And it popped so hard when they did the whole angle, him versus Brett. And Owen made a mark on my life to the point where, I have a kid named Owen just from knowing him, but, just through the television, not through anything else. And, it's weird to think that he'd be 54 now.
Wow.
And I see all these other guys, especially watching the Viceland series and seeing all these wrestlers now. You see Kevin Von Erich and he looks like he's 80 years old. And you see, you even see Brett, and Brett looks, Brett's been through some stuff, but Brett looks old, and all these other guys look old. And I can't picture Owen looking old. And that's the thing about death. You don't. So, yeah.
Yeah, that Over the Edge happened shortly after I kind of started watching wrestling.
Welcome to the product.
Yeah, right. It's not one we ordered. Usually, we would order every other month or something like that. Because, money.
Right.
That's not mine. And I remember that morning, I think my mom woke me up to get ready for school, and she told me, and I was like, what? And, I didn't have, I'd just come into the product, so I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of Owen. That Raw is forever kind of etched into my mind, too.
Oh, God.
The Raw is Owen and all, so it was, so I don't have a huge backstory to it like you do, but yeah, it's, I will always equate that with my early days as a fan of professional wrestling, unfortunately. But
you reminded me of that, and I just think of Jeff Jarrett and Deborah losing it, and Mark Henry's poem, and
right.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I was torn that day because I so wanted to watch it, because I so wanted to see all these tributes to my favorite wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I did not want to watch it because it was proof that it was real.
Right. Yeah. On that note, on that cheerful note, get out of here for this week. Tom, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
Go on the Twitter machine at Mr. Workrate, at MR Workrate. Yeah, just do that. I'm down now, so
I'm sorry. I didn't know of a logical way to bring us back up before we close the show, so I was like, let's just bail. You can find me on Twitter at JCBobbitt, at JCBOBBITT. Shows on Twitter at CheatersNVRPin. We're on Facebook and Instagram too. Just search for us and find us. Yeah, I'm down too, so I can't even do the whole spiel. But yeah, next week we'll be back with what happened at Double or Nothing. It'll be the show before Super Showdown, and whatever else happens in the next week, right?
Yeah.
Not much on the horizon, so except for that third hour of Raw, baby.
Where Barry White would turn the lights down. Oh, yeah.
Right.
$240 worth of pudding, baby.
Okay. I'm back up again. Thank you.
Yeah. Had to drop in the state reference, otherwise,
Love it. All right. Well, that does it for this week. So we'll see you next time. So I'm JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.